Hello, a very good day to you from wherever you're watching us. This is Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. Of course, it's been a while since we had this conversation here on an episode of the Candid Talk, but here we are with Professor Herman Manyora, definitely here taking our tea on this chilly Friday morning in Nairobi. Prof, how are you?
Fine. Getting better out of the woods now.
Okay.
Yes.
Fans are saying you've been away for quite a while.
Yeah. I was unwell.
Yes.
But I'm okay now.
Now here we are. The lion is back.
Simba iko sasa.
Roaring and telling them as it is.
Yes.
Definitely, yeah, we are taking tea. I wonder how long will this continue. Definitely, right now we are supposed to go sugarless, going by the advice of the CS Treasury. The Honorable, of course, you know him, Njuguna Ndung'u, who said that sugar is more poisonous to our health, and therefore tax has been imported sugar is now taxed at 5 shillings per kilogram. Right now, do you think this perhaps is warranted? Like, should you be telling Kenyans such kind of stuff? That now that sugar is a little bit...
Where does that professor live? Is he a Kenyan?
I wonder where the professor lives, but then...
5 shillings on a kilo of sugar, which is retailing at already 200 and something. What is 5 shillings? In
a bid to curb diseases like lifestyle diseases like
I'm saying if you want to discourage importation, imported sugar landed at Mombasa is so cheap that you can even sell it at a quarter of the price now and make a profit. So unless if you want to discourage, say it is 50 shillings per kilo.
Okay.
Not 5 shillings. Where does this guy live?
I wonder, definitely, I know you will go into the nitty-gritties of discussing such with, of course, Richard Mwenja will be coming here to go through the budget, definitely. I know you'll have a comprehensive analysis of that. But Prof, here we are definitely, I was looking at things taking place, of course, leading to the passing of the finance bill. Definitely, before that, we had the bill and we had this conversation. Everybody was talking about it in Kenya, and of course, all our media outlets in the country and even abroad were focusing on us here, and here we are. Proof, my question is this. You know, I got a little bit attracted to the so-called public participation that was conducted there by the Parliamentary Commission, the group that is in charge of conducting the budget and drawing all this kind of bill. That was
the Finance Committee, yes.
Definitely, the Finance Committee that was led by Kimani. Now, my question is this. Was that public participation necessary, really? Did it yield anything at the end of the day? Because going by what was said at the public participation stuff, and if at all anything was to go by, then the finance bill wasn't supposed to pass as it was.
I personally, I consider this public participation a lot of nonsense. I believe strongly that men and women should understand the role of parliament and other legislative bodies in a democracy, and therefore elect the right men and women, because those are the only ones who can speak. We can't gather anywhere, all of us. So we have sent men and women to National Assembly, to Senate, to county assemblies. We surrender our responsibilities. We abdicate our responsibilities and elect crooks, murderers, and anything that wants to be elected because they have money. Then somebody comes from some NGO world and talks of public participation. What public participation? What are the parameters? How many people can participate? Do those people in the Finance Committee, for example, and I have nothing against them, some of them are even my friends, do they have the capacity to put those views together and make sense out of them? And even if they had, do they have the time? Look at all those submissions. How much time would you need to make sense out of them, to distill the ideas and make sense? And what is obligation? Is there an obligation like you're asking? Supposing 1,000 people made appearances. I've been unwell, so I don't know the numbers. And out of that 1,950 opposed this finance bill. Would it see light of day? There's no such a provision. So it is superficial. It makes some busybody people. I have followed this thing. I have followed commissions when people are making public participation in presentations. I've gone to county hall and seen the faces talking there. I've gone to my home in Vihiga. I've seen the same people have left Nairobi have come to Vihiga. I've not seen anybody from my village or my sub-location or my location, an organic member of the public presenting organic views. I've never seen. They are the same busybodies. Moving from town to town. The same ones. Talking about the same thing in the same manner. And as usual, they are always ignored. So what is public participation? It's nonsense. Elect the right men and women into county assemblies, national assembly, parliament, and into state house. Then you'll be safe. Your matters will be taken care of. But you elect the charlatans. And then some funny crooks tell us we can go to county hall or KICC and do public participation. What public participation? I have also attended those things. There's nothing good that goes on there.
So you think that perhaps what was being done there definitely beats logic, because you're wondering, I'm looking at even going by the result of what we saw, out of the 90 email submissions that were there, 87 of them opposed that bill. And even out of all those, this time around it happened so good that all those things, everything that was taking place, that committee led by Kimani Kure definitely was being aired and people could see, and all those submissions Kenyans were able to see and witness. This is what actually Kenyans do actually intend to have as a country. Now my question therefore would be, there is a time that one of the members of parliament actually from Kisii, the majority whip in the National Assembly, definitely was asked, what is it that your people are saying on the ground? Then he said that, well, my people may be opposed to the bill, but then they elected me to represent them. So I know what is good for them. Yeah.
It depends on how you look at it. Look, we live in a world where issues, I'm not saying issues must not be canvassed. Serious issues of national importance, such as those things contained in the finance bill, must be canvassed at the national level. We must have a national conversation on them. And indeed, there's so much of that is taking place within the media and everywhere. So Parliament cannot purport in a week's time to sit down and listen to Kenyans and say this is what Kenyans are saying. Of course, like you are saying, they went contrary to what they were told by the same Kenyans. Is that right?
Yeah, definitely.
But neither was it even necessary. You see, as a leader, you are supposed to keep a tab on things. You are supposed to know what's going on in the country. Okay? Because as a member of parliament, one of the three functions which I consider key is representation. Who do you represent? You represent your people. We assume as we elect you, you have the capacity without a barometer, but you have the capacity to know generally what the people of Amisi think and feel. That's why you speak for them. Because you interact with them. The MPs interact with these things on television, on radio, on social media, in print media, in churches, in mosques. They interact with these things in different forums. And they carry that. These ideas, distill them, critically evaluate them, and make judgment on them. And make the opinion on behalf of the people they represent. But don't lie to me, you can sit in some place for a week or two, receiving memorandum which you don't even have the capacity to read, and interpret within a week. Kwani sisi tu hatujaenda shule? Tumesoma kidogo.
So my question is this. Now, why would we go as far as doing these things which at the end of the day we cannot actually justify and say, yes, it was worth the kind of time that we took therein? I mean, why would a country at our level get engaged into things that would perhaps amount to total wastage of public resources, time and energy? Because look at what was taking place there, and all those things, people were invited and they went there physically to present their views. At the end of the day, these views do not count. Then the members of parliament who are actually within that committee definitely will have to pocket their sitting allowance for that matter. Then there was that retreat that was in Naivasha. They went there to stay. Then all this time accumulating public resources and leaving the public coffers definitely empty. And here we are, these are the leaders who we actually...
You talked about the country. What country is this? It's called Kenya.
Definitely.
How is it classified? Not my classification. It's a third world
Of
country.
course, Kenya is a third world country, yes?
We may wish to add, in our own interest, it's a poor, dirty third world country. Poor people, there are many things that define a poor person, which by extension, a poor country. Top on the list is wastage. Wastage. Even if you go in the villages where people are poor, during harvest, you enter somebody's compound, unakutana na kibongo cha ugali namna hii, ingine kuku inakimbia na ingine umbwa iko. Now that they have harvested that one sack, they wanaweka sufuria namna hii kwa moto ya maji. Look for ugali. Never mind, there are only 5 in the house. They cook food for enough for a school. Well, you may explain it in other ways, but poor people are defined by wastage. Poor countries are defined by wastage. They waste that which they don't even have. Then they go begging. You are taxing Kenyans badly in the same budget, but you know you are making sittings that have no value. Spending the money you say you don't have. Then you go and tax the same Kenyans. And you claim to be the leaders. It will be difficult for these people in heaven. For those of them who profess some faith. It will be so difficult. When they face their maker. Atauliza nyinyi viongozi. Munaenda Naivasha kukula mamilioni. Na mnasema serikali haina pesa. Alafu mnarudi mnatoza watu wangu ushuru. Pita pande chap ingia kwa hiyo moto. Itakuwa mkali sana kwa hao. Because you see, this is stupidity. You don't have money and you are wasting the little you have. Then proceed to tax the poor. Another definition of a poor person is they spend so much time and energy on irrelevant small things and give scant attention to things that matter. So pomp and color and ceremony accompanies every small thing like reading of a budget. A budget is being read to poor people, for poor people, and you are taxing those poor people. But that occasion alone, I wish Professor Njuguna to be very honest and candid with me. The occasion alone of the budget, how much money will it have cost? You go to your university where you are soon going to graduate. That graduation alone, how much money will it cost? A useless, simple exercise. I have seen people applying for visa that I'm going to attend my daughter's graduation. They ask, what are you talking about? You want to go to the UK to attend a graduation of somebody? And it's a 30 minutes thing? And you say you want to go 6 of you? I mean, so that is very, very typical of poor countries and poor people. Yeah. Wasting time, wasting money on irrelevant things. But they hardly attend to things that matter.
Does it mean, Prof, therefore, that no matter the kind of views that the citizens have at the end of the day, the regime in leadership will have its way, no matter what
Didn't I tell you that this thing will pass?
Of course you said.
And people began hitting at me, saying, Manyora, you have switched camp, you have been bought. To say the bill will pass is not player support. How can I support such a madness? But it has passed, hasn't it?
But here we are, definitely. And of course, the contentious finance bill, of course, that we had been waiting for to see whether it will pass or not, is here with us. That contentious issue on the housing issue now is a tax. Definitely, we've seen that. I've seen you of that conversation before. But at least Kenyans are now hoping that the issue of joblessness or slums and everything will now end now that we are here and the president said so.
Look here, young man. You do not get a serious issue like unemployment. You do not get a serious issue like urban slum problem. And give it very cheap kindergarten attention and things you can end. I've not had any serious conversation about housing in this country. I've only heard about trying to put up houses. Putting up houses and housing, they could be different things. But even if we grant them, they don't know. Let's fuse them into one.
Yeah, but there I heard Professor Omenya say that you cannot solve the problem of housing by building houses.
So, even if we don't go there, because they may not have the capacity. Where is the thinking? Where is the thinking? Because I'm not seeing the thinking on the table. You need thinking. Even when you want to put up houses in Shaurimoyo here, even just to solve the issue of where are those people going, it becomes an issue because of absence of thinking. How can this big one occur? And I've been laughing at even the Azimio people and people who claim to know things and oppose government. I've been asking them, have they asked the government what they need money for this housing thing? Because at 1.5, even if you reduce 3 to 1.5, we are talking of billions of shillings. Is that right? Forget about how that money can be saved, ile NSSF ilikuliwa, NHIF. Let's leave that aside. Let's just put one question on the table. In the whole housing project, what does the government need that money for? I've not heard even from the opposition that one question. What does the government need that money for? Is government going to build houses? No. So what does government intend to do with that money? Does it even intend to give part of it to any National Housing Corporation? The answer is no. So what do they need money for in the housing project? That's the fundamental question that I'm saying. This is nonsense. There's no thinking. Nobody, from both sides, nobody's thinking. Government doesn't need money. Government will try to help developers identify land. And there's plenty of government land. Plenty of it. I even had the president talk about rural land. You have your land somewhere in Migori. A developer wants to put up houses because that's a strategic place. You enter into an arrangement with him. Maybe if he puts up 2,000 units, maybe he can give you 50. You see, so where is the government? Why does the government need money for in this housing project? That is the question, and nobody's asking it. Let somebody from government, certainly not Hinga, because that cannot answer the question. Let somebody from government answer Manyora. What do you need money for? You are not going to be building houses. You are not going to be buying anything. If the services are required, sewage, what, the developers will enter into government, into agreement, into some agreement with the people providing those services. Okay? Because this is a long-term investment. Government can only guarantee. Government can only give you land. Government should not begin buying land. Because we know where that will take us if government start buying land for this housing project. So the government in the first place doesn't need any shilling for the housing.
Well,
you get what I'm saying?
I get you, but let's
otherwise, I'm saying, don't talk about unemployment with the people who are not thinking. You cannot deal with unemployment in such a simplistic manner. Don't tell me about fabrication of windows. These stupid windows around here. Chinese will bring window from China to fix in those houses. So tunachomelea madirisha gani? Kuna dirisha yatachomelewa hapa. Dirisha yatatoka China na kuja. Wanaweka tu sijui discouragement tax, which tax? Kama hiyo ya sukari ya 5%. Hakuna. Madirisha itamwagika kutoka kwa meli huko ikikuja kuweka kwa hizi manyumba na milango. And even panels. Now it's panel technology.
Okay. Well, let us wait and see, definitely, regardless of all this conversation and of course of the views of the common man that were aired during that time of public participation. All these things have gone through, and of course that bit on housing has passed without any kind of legal framework. that is necessary perhaps to see whether anything will yield, or rather whether this bill will yield anything to the common man. Ladies and gentlemen, remember we are still on the ground looking at how things are taking place in this country, and we'll bring you up to date with comprehensive analysis of everything political, economics, and any other thing that you need to know that is taking place within the country and abroad. Till we have this conversation again, have yourself a lovely day. My name is Evans Okinyi.